My name is Lucifer, and welcome to Bedrot. What's better than rotting in bed all day long for the end of eternity? Yeah, heck yeah. Would you like to spoil the con? Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Many discretions. Now, dear reader, let's begin. Of course, I love beginnings. How long has your life been like this? You haven't a clue. But given your situation, you don't care to think about that. Rise and shine, Alice Abbott. Ugh, what time is it? The time really shouldn't matter to you. Not when you're just gonna stay inside all day. Whatever, I'm just gonna do what I do best, sit and watch TV. It's gotten so bad that you can't bring yourself to get out of bed. In order to look around, you find yourself having to click on everything in the room. I can do that. Trash. You're so tired most of the time that you can't even bring yourself to put the trash in here. Cafue? You haven't bothered to clean that up. Too much of a hassle when you already live in filth. The trash piled up so much that it almost covers the windows. I would take out the garbage if I didn't have to go outside. I guess the outside crack. Used to care about that crack in the wall, but now it's just decoration. Used to actually use this for studying. Now it just eats up the energy you haven't paid for in weeks. You're grateful for this. Grateful that you didn't have to go outside for food. Otherwise, you would have died a long time ago. Well, what about the desk? Box? Even though you've lived in this dorm for some time, you never finished unpacking. Looks like it's gonna stay that way. Looks like the floor has become your trash bin for tissues. You would have lost your head without this lovely contraption. Want to watch something? Fuck yeah! Or fuck that. Should I have gone with fuck that? You switch the TV on, just like every single day. People always tell you to be consistent. And here you are, consistently staying in bed and watching TV. Even though you do this every day, the TV's flickering light still burns your retinas. You switch through the channels. News, sports, questionable stuff, kids shows. You settle on May 30th day wedding. My 30th day wedding. My 30-day wedding, I can't read, oh my god. Yes, you know that just about everything in that show is staged. But you like it. You like seeing these people be so petty towards each other. Seeing them beat the shit out of each other over silly things like soap reminds you of why you're even here. I know that some might think that I'm missing out on life, but I'm perfectly fine missing out on people. Even if my 30-day wedding is staged, you can't help but feel that there's some level of truth to the pettiness. You remember how when you actually attended class, some boy began trying to prank you. And by prank, I don't mean silly things like dialing random numbers. I mean crap like trying to dump acid on you. And it was all because I didn't want to work with him on a project. Maybe I came across too harshly when rejecting him? A massive part of you believes that this world is a shitty place. But the idea that maybe it's your fault is tempting. You sit back and think on it some more. At least if something is your fault, you can fix it. Bitch found dead! You switch on the news channel. You feel like watching something informative. Good evening, citizens of Libretto City. Evening? You're not surprised. More disappointed in yourself than anything. You used to wake up at the crack of dawn to get shit done. Now you wake up at the crack of dusk to lay and rot. You break your attention back to the TV. Bring attention back to your TV. Thoughts aren't good for you. Today we bring you a grisly case. A murder! Another one, just like every day. Yes, I know that I know that you see this shit every day, but this one is so bad that we had to show you. You zone out a bit while the reporter talks about the crime scene. About how the victim was found under Cardinal River with half of her face burnt off and her breast torn. The victim's name was Emma Greenwood. Your ears perk up. You remember that she was one of your classmates back when you went to class. And she was also one of the only people to check up on you. You're sure that she was a good person. She sure as hell didn't deserve to die in such a horrific way. Why is the world like this? How is it you could do everything right and still have something horrible happen to you? You decide to sleep. Again. And just like every night, you don't dream. On one hand, if you don't dream, you can't remind yourself that the situation does suck. Plus, you don't have nightmares about how a stranger is going to bust in to strangle you. On the other hand, sleep is getting boring without dreams. Sleep just consists of your random thoughts bouncing off of each other. It's too much like when you're awake. Rise and shine again! Even though you got well over half a day of sleep, your eyes are still glued shut. Not to mention how that the sunlight makes you want to clamp your eyes. You don't enjoy sunlight. You don't even go out to feel its warmth. It's just a nuisance to you. Something that stops you from... You can't think of what it stops you from doing. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Rotting away, that's what. It's in moments like these where you question everything. No, you didn't question it when trash began piling up in your room. Nor did you question it when people showed up at your dorm with bills, letters of expulsion, all that good shit. Now that sunlight is hitting you, you question it. Part of you wants to go over to the window and cover it up with something. But you also don't want to see the dent you left in the bed from how long you've laid there. It makes everything feel too real. You hide from the light under the wrinkled covers. You don't sleep under there, you lay awake. The sunlight barely penetrates the thin fabric. But it's better than your eyes being fried. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts under the covers. Nothing but the faint buzzing of flies around the garbage. You try to make out little conversations the flies might be having. Anything to distract you from your mind. After what feels like an eternity, the room is dark again. You prop yourself up. Again. Just another night of nothing. That's what I expect. Just like every single night, you cage yourself in here. The only difference is that now you're realizing how miserable it is. I'm looking it up. Hats of living filth. Will you live trash when you can never use it? It's only now that you realize how overpowering the stench is. You feel bad for whoever lives on this floor of the dorms. But that guilt isn't enough to drag you out. Only problem with having this takeaway container is that it's probably all moldy now. Might make it die quicker though. You're just waiting for the day that the wall completely falls apart. You used to actually this for studying, now it just eats up you haven't paid for weeks. Even though you've lived in this dorm for some time, you never finish unpacking. Yeah? Your lovely food-stained bed, it's more of a home to you than this dorm. Looking closer into the crevice between the mattress and the wall, there's something weird. What is that weird thing, huh? What is this? You can't discern what it is. Maybe it's a plant of some kind? I don't know what it would be living off of. Maybe off of the food scraps under your bed. Maybe off the decaying wood. No use in wondering about it though. No use in wondering about anything now. Oh, okay. You lay back in bed, stomach completely empty. As the days go on and on, you feel like your head's becoming more empty. You can remember when you were younger, the lives of you and your sister were filled with joy and whimsy. As much as you can get in Libretto City, at least.
Libretto City sounds like a place where a mafia is.
You know that your sister is off being productive, working in forensics of some kind. Heck, she's probably working on Emma Greenwood's case right as you rot. How would she feel if she saw me like this? Everyone in my family thinks I'm off getting some psychology degree. They all think I'm actually doing something with my life. And I'm just rotting. That's the best word for it. I used to be something. Someone. Now I'm just some husk. You remember when Emma came to check up on you? She asked if anything had happened. You tried to pinpoint what happened. You're still trying, but to be quite frank, at least if something did happen to you, the state of life would just would be justified, right? Maybe it wasn't a single bad thing that happened. Maybe it was a bunch of smaller things that piling up. Even though you've spent the better part of the day sleeping, you're too tired to think. You just want rest. It's been long overdue. When you wake up, the sun is blaring on you and your little plant friend. Ugh, why is there so much sunlight out there? Libretto City is usually all dark and gloomy. Why is it all bright now? Now all of times I can read. I promise. Sometimes you like to think that it's sunny because you're not out there. Aggrandizing? Fuck yeah. Funny? Hell yeah. At least it's funny in your mind. Seeing the sun out reminds me that everyone's out there doing stuff. At least in the night, people are doing what I do. For the most part. Eating, watching TV, and sleeping. But I know that that's not true when the sun is shining. You lay back down. Again. I truly hate being reminded of what you could be doing instead of laying in bed all day. You know it's your fault that you're like this. You struggle to sleep through the day, lost in thought. I know that some people out there feel the exact way I do, but it manifests so differently for people. Some people just turn to alcohol, some turn to adrenaline hunting, some throw themselves into their work and become even more productive. I think that any of those people are more productive than I am. Even the alcohol and adrenaline junkies. Because at least they're putting themselves out. Okay, I overclicked. Why do my feelings manifest in this way? Night falls yet again. Just like every single night. Do you know how insanity is defined? You really should, considering that you barely survived one semester of university. No answer? Ah, shucks. Explains why you stopped attending classes. Insanity is when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's exactly what you're doing. The thing is that I know nothing's gonna change. No shit, it isn't. I know that every single day is the same. But how different am I compared to other people then? Alright, good point. The way that you view it, with regards to insanity, you're the same as most people. People go to university expecting to outshine their peers, even if they're reusing the same study habits from high school. People go to work every single day doing random stuff for an apathetic boss, expecting that out of all the other employees, they'll be the ones to get rich. It's all the same to you, except for the fact that society doesn't consider what you do to be productive. You do miss blissful ignorance. You hate being able to see the systems for what they are. You hate how you can't just go along with it like everyone else. Even though it's all the same, the difference is that those people are happy, while I'm not. Oh, don't be such a Debbie Downer. Maybe you should watch some TV and return to your usual state of apathy. Well, there's a water symbol up there. All right. Huh, looks like that plant brought a little buddy. This plant looks different from yesterday. Smells different too. Strange. It's off. Okay. It's you! Your sad hermit little self. As if you didn't know that already. I'm surprised. You're surprised that no one's shown up at your door complaining about all this. You can barely smell the rotting trash from here. Mostly because it blends in with the rest of the odors. Ah, looks like the TV's off. You don't remember turning it off. Guess they finally cut the power. Explains why the lamp's off. This day was coming. And now your one source of entertainment is gone. All that can keep me occupied are my thoughts. Or sleep. What does it matter that the power is gone? Most of my time is spent sleeping and thinking anyways. White noise rings in your mind. Your stomach grumbles with hollowness. And your eyes just don't want to stay open. Regardless of if you sleep for 3 or 18 hours, your eyes want to stay clamped shut in eternal slumber. Your eyes give in, and darkness is all you see. Your other senses are heightened, but even they feel dull. You know that it smells slightly worse in here than usual. You're used to the stench of mold and rotting wood, but you're beginning to pick up odors of decaying meat. The flies are gonna love that. Oh. You wake up from another dreamless night. That's good. Nothing to remind you of what you could be missing out on. And it's night? You either slept only for a few hours or an entire day. I'm probably gonna fall right back asleep in minutes. You're starting to wish that you'd stayed asleep forever. Do we talk about the plaids? The smell looks different from yesterday. It smells different too. You think that this might be the source of the decaying odor? Wouldn't make much sense though. How could a plant be growing and decaying? You wonder what this plant is feeding off of to grow so quickly. I don't know. Maybe the emotions, the very dark emotions that are happening here. Probably it. Another one? It's close to blocking off the exit. It's not like it matters. I was never going to leave in the first place. Quite the thought of despair here. But it's true. There's nothing out there for you. You're sure that no one in your family cares. You're sure that even if you finally did go out, you'd be miserable. Hell, that one person you remember being kind to you wound up dead. What does that mean? Does it mean that you have to resort to assholery if you want to live? The worst part of it all is that even after thinking about it, you don't know the root of your issue. Maybe it's a bunch of small things snowballing up into something massive. But you can't even figure out the smaller things. You fall back asleep. For a long, long time. And again, it's dreamless. You come to realize that maybe you don't dream because your mind itself is a prison. Those are a lot more plants planting about. It smells like blood and guts are spread around the room. Yeah, I wonder why. The exit's blocked. You're too late. The wines rot guts. The substance stays wrapped around you. You don't try to fight it. Oh. You want to scream, but you're too tired. The strange tentacles poke through you, stitching you straight to the bed. Oh no. You never intended to leave in the first place. Not for a long time at least. But now that you're truly chained to the bed, you expect to regret it all. You don't. You had no dreams to live for. Oh. So your nightmares become your reality. End Bedrot. Wow. Ooh. That was interesting. Obviously, it's a more emotion fueled and all of that. And just know that times do get tough, and there are times when it feels like there's no things that are actually causing the problems, and it feels like then you could be the problem. But it's not you being the problem. It's just sometimes times are like that, and it can be hard to distinguish from what's real and what's actually not. And know that it's okay, that you can ask for help, and it's okay to ask for help. And yeah, this was just a lot. It was interesting to see, a life of, in university and all that. I mean, not university, college. University's for smart people. I'm not smart. Yeah, it's relatable because sometimes you get those feelings too, and yeah, it's easy to fall into a spiral and just get lost in them. I wish there was something more with the wines, though. I wish there was something more that succumbed to them, or like talked about it, or alluded to. I wish there was something a bit more that happened there, and more things that happened when I interacted with them, and I clicked on stuff. But still, it was a very emotion-fueled game, and it was interesting. Would have liked to know the protagonist and everything like that a lot more. But yeah, that's about it. Just know that you're wonderful, each and every single one of you, and that it's okay, and that you can take it one step at a time, and that it will be okay, and you can ask for help. And that's about it. Thank you everyone so much for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and goodbye.